Hello everyone, Lee the Dorset Spur here, back with my match reaction to Tottenham beating Brentford. Can you believe it? Tottenham have actually won a game in the Premier League and we move up from 16th up to 14th. Amazing. How different do you feel after a win compared to getting beaten week in, week out? So amazing to kind of get that and start to feel like maybe we're actually getting somewhere. Have to be honest, thought it was a bit of a dull game overall. Certainly in the first half, I felt that we really had to soak up so much pressure all the way through that, and it was a bit of a hard watch for most of it, to be fair. But there were some positives in the game, I thought. Once again, Archie Gray did really well as an 18-year-old kid, moving from across that back line from left centre back to right centre back to right back to left back. I mean, he just carries on and does whatever is asked of him. I just can't see how that needs to continue. We desperately need to get some support back for him because we can't put that much pressure on an 18-year-old. But listen, hopefully with this new signing of Kevin Danso, that maybe makes the difference, comes into the squad and gives him that little bit of a rest and gives Ben Davies someone who he can kind of rely on as a more seasoned professional. But only time will tell on that. In terms of Ben Davies, I have to say I thought he had another very good game, a bit of an unsung hero. And I know there are lots of fans out there who criticise Ben Davies an awful lot, but for me, I think he is an absolute professional. Whatever he's asked to do, he comes in. He doesn't complain. He doesn't moan. He doesn't whinge about being on the bench or anything like that. He just comes in and gets on with it and leads by example. In terms of his match against Elfsborg, he was kind of everywhere. He was playing very high up the pitch. Against Brentford, bit of a different task for him. Lots and lots of defending to do, lots of blocks and that kind of stuff. But I thought he handled that very well, as did the whole of the back line, to be fair. Of course, the plaudits will go to Jed Spence, who I thought had an excellent game and was my man of the match. We talked about it in the club on the day watching it, and I think every one of us said that Jed Spence was outstanding, and what a revelation he has been. Obviously, growing in these kind of standing within the squad and becoming a very important player for us. I think once we got Udogie back, I think there could be real competition there, but potentially it gives him the opportunity to go to the right hand side and maybe give Porro a bit of a break, who's played probably the most minutes out of any Tottenham player, certainly this season, without a break. So I do feel like we're kind of waiting for something to happen to Porro, which is a bit of a worry. But within the next sort of week, 10 days, we should have some of these other players coming back in, and of course with the new player Danso coming in, that does give us some more options in that situation. Richarlison, I thought, had a decent game as well, working really hard without an awful lot to get on the end of. Ran himself actually into the ground, to be fair, and looked disappointed coming off, but I think it was the right decision. It was good to see Scarlett get an opportunity to come into the team as well after his heroics on Thursday. Not too much time for him to really impress in the game, but good to kind of have him coming off the bench and giving us something, and obviously giving us a little bit of confidence, having seen him score so recently. So yeah, happy for that. I guess the other one I wanted to call out really is Son, to be clear. He's been under a lot of pressure this season. We've all been rather concerned about his lack of form. But certainly over the last couple of games, he seemed to be getting a little bit back to it. I thought he did particularly well. But again, even this game, I thought he worked really hard and seemed to get a little bit more of his pace back and a little bit more kind of confidence at going at players. And of course, he set up the second goal for Sarr, which is what I was going to come on to. Coming on for Bissouma, good to kind of have him in. I think Sarr is one of those players. He's either really good or he can be really poor. I think the game before Elfsborg, can't think who it was now off the top of my head, but I thought we had a quite a poor game. Leicester, I think, had a bit of a poor game, but I think he was injured and shouldn't have probably been playing anyway, and he didn't look very good at all. But when he came on yesterday, he brought a lot of energy to the team, and to have the confidence to take his goal in the way he did, I thought was outstanding. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest with you. I was kind of, if we were going to get a win, a 1-0 scrappy win off of an own goal, I was happy to take it, to be honest, because we just need that bit of luck. But for him to kind of score that in that manner, I think there was something like 16 passes before it actually ended up with him to make the final shot. A real team goal that kind of started at the back and passed all the way through. It was really good for him to have that confidence to do it in the way he did between the keeper's legs, as he's kind of being closed down. A great ball as well from Son, to be fair, because I thought that he was more likely to go to Spence on the overlap and kind of just waste a bit of time, maybe play the ball in, across the ball. But to kind of see that pass and that run, I thought was excellent. And that's what I think with Son, he kind of can do that if he just kind of takes his time to think about what he wants to do. There was too many times where he's kind of making some rash passes or rash crosses. But now he seems to be maybe getting a little bit back to where he could have been. So yeah, I was really, really happy to kind of see him progressing from that point of view. Not the greatest of games for Mikey Moore. Still a young lad playing on his weaker side as well. So probably didn't have the best of games. And I think that's why it's important to bring someone else in who can play on that side, because Kulu's not particularly. Well, I guess he's not as good as he can be in that number 10 role. Although he brings a lot to it with his strength and so on, but he's not very pacey, and he tends to turn back a fair bit, or he has been. So having him in the centre, he's more effective, can affect the game more with his strength and so on. So we definitely need someone who can also play on that right hand side. But with Johnson coming back, hopefully he can kind of put in some better performances than he has done. A little bit worried about his contribution outside of kind of late goals and stuff. But to be honest with you, I'd take some of them late goals at the moment, because we seem to have been struggling after kind of having so many at the beginning of the season, scoring quite highly in some of these games, to kind of only be scraping by at the end was a bit of a worry. But I'm going to take it with that. I said to the guys that I was concerned about us having such a lack of luck go our way. It always seems to kind of go the other way. We never seem to really get what we want from it. But I think yesterday was the day where maybe our luck is going to start to change. It would be great to kind of have some of those decisions go your way and things happen like that. And that's what we got from the corner, where it hits the keeper flaps, hits their player on the back and goes in. We don't often get them. We don't often get that luck. So to kind of have that was a real positive. A couple of penalties in the game, which we didn't get. So I was ruining those, thinking this is where our luck goes wrong. But like I say, we kept Brentford out, who are having a good time at home, scoring plenty of goals, to keep a clean sheet as well. Really, really satisfying. So you got to take that. You got to take that all day long, especially as Van der Ven didn't even make the bench, which really worried me initially, because I thought, if Van der Ven can't play, is he injured again? Because I thought we would probably try and give him some minutes in this game to kind of build up his match fitness. But no, they decided to rest him, give him a good rest, because we had Spence back, and it worked for the best. So you can't really complain. I mean, overall, not a particularly great performance, but a great result. And like I say, moves us up to 14th in the league. Depending on how results go, West Ham playing Chelsea, and Liverpool, Everton, and so on in the week. So hopefully that kind of keeps it into that position, and we can only build on that. Of course, Thursday, massive game on Thursday against Liverpool in a Carabao Cup. So you've got to hope that some kind of luck goes our way in that. We only need a draw, remember, but difficult place to go. Difficult to expect a result there. Things seem to be going their way, absolutely. But fingers crossed they're going to concentrate on the winning the league rather than the League Cup, and that gives us that little bit of opportunity to see us through to a final. And maybe this time we can have a final against Newcastle rather than a Man City or a Chelsea who are rampant, because I think Newcastle are beatable. We see that at this weekend with Fulham beating them. So there is an opportunity to win against them. But listen, there's another game to go before we even get that far. So and they've obviously got to beat Arsenal, even though they've got a 2-0 lead on that. But listen, it is what it is. We are where we are. We can only celebrate the wins that we're having. I'll take this one all day long. Look forward to the game against Liverpool. In terms of the transfer window, obviously we've just got this guy in, and it looks like we are also going to be getting Matthias Tell from Bayern Munich. Not sure about that. I know there's a lot of discomfort about the fact that he didn't want to sign for us initially. But from how I'm kind of reading it, pretty much he didn't want a permanent deal, and I think we were looking for a permanent deal. And so when he's kind of talking to Manchester United and Aston Villa and whoever else it was about the opportunities, their opportunities for a loan may not have been as appealing as Tottenham's option for a loan. And so he's come back to us. Now, listen, if all you could do is judge the player on how he plays rather than whether he really wanted to come to us or didn't want to come to us or whatever. We don't know the whole story. We wasn't in the room. He may have said no because he didn't want to come permanently. And then when he's kind of talking to other clubs about the opportunity for game time on a loan and so on and so forth, he weighed that up against what the Tottenham board and manager were offering and decided, no, actually, that's the better option out of all of them. And listen, if he comes to us for 6 months and plays really, really well and does a good job for us and helps us this season, then that's all I can ask for. At the end of it all, he may decide, actually, this is a great club. I want to stay. We'll see. Alternatively, he could come to us, be absolute shit. And if he is, we can send him back. We don't have to worry about it. So listen, you just have to take it with a pinch of salt and see what happens and judge a player on their performance rather than what the media or Joe Blogs on Twitter tells you. Anyway, that's it from me. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. And as always, up the Spurs.